Hi guys. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you about in this video is basically how to use a camera and how to use machine vision with your Raspberry Pi. All right, so on the screen, what you can see is basically, if I expand this out a little, you can see lots of different images of OpenCV. All right, so OpenCV is what you need for machine vision with your Raspberry Pi. So the thing that you need first, the thing that you need to buy, is basically this Raspberry Pi camera module that you can see on the screen. So what it does, it's just a little camera, the same as it would be like inside your phone or your device, and basically you plug it into your Raspberry Pi. So I don't know if you can see this image. So that's where it goes. It goes on top of the board. All right. It's a bit fiddly because it's like a very thin sheet that fits in, but it's fine. It goes in there. It works fine. So just be very careful with it, not to sort of rip the sort of end of that or anything like this. So this OpenCV basically is a library built for machine vision. So you can write it in Python and you can basically easily use their library to import functions. So you can easily use machine vision with your Raspberry Pi, which is pretty cool because there's a lot of stuff you can do, which I'll show you in a minute. So what you want to do is, I've just wrote this little doc here. So with OpenCV, you can do some first, you can check your Raspberry Pi has enough space. Okay, so these are the commands that you can use to basically check you've got enough space on your Raspberry Pi, because you need to check the requirements and so basically you can do that first. And then what you want to do is you can update your system if it's a bit of an old, outdated system. So we've been working on some projects recently, and we're having some problems with the OS. So you can update that. That's the commands there at the top. Then what you want to do is make sure you've got pip installed. So pip is basically the thing that Python uses to install different code onto your Raspberry Pi or your device that you're using. So it's really important that when you use pip, that you're using, if you're using Python 2, that you just use the word pip before your line of code, and pip 3 is basically what you use for Python 3. So I recommend that you use pip 3 and Python 3 for all of your code because it's the most up to date. So pip 3 and Python is the way to go. So for here, so basically this line of code where it says sudo pip install opencv, basically that is going to install the OpenCV sort of libraries and everything that's been already created for you, lots of different code that you can basically just import quickly. So that pip is going to install that for you onto your Raspberry Pi. So as I said, you can have pip 3 there, all right, like that. So getting on to what kind of things you can do with OpenCV, loads of projects. So lots of robotics projects you can build with OpenCV. So you can detect colors. You can, if you're working around a maze, you can recognize sort of walls and barriers, and then you can navigate around that in your code if you connect into the motors. So it's super useful. So here on the internet, I found some examples. So Sudoku Solver, you can do like a social distancing app where it picks up the images. So this is kind of the things that it can do. So it will pick up, it will recognize sort of the shapes. We're going to get into that a bit more, but this is just a basic how to get started. One last thing I want to tell you about is how to use TensorFlow. So TensorFlow is basically the machine learning platform. So you can also use that with OpenCV. So if you get a chance, I go for that. Okay. All right. Hope you enjoy that, guys. Good luck.